Hi Aries, welcome to your end of November 2018 General Tarot Update. I'm Raina and I'm going to be doing a spread with the Wild Unknown Tarot, and I'm going to be also picking a card from the Universe Has Your Back Oracle deck at the end. I love that. That's so cute for the Hangman. It's so cute. Ooh, 2 major arcana cards in a row. Oh, 3. Okay, 10 of Wands. Okay. All right. So it's always a shadow on that side. The heart of the matter is the Hangman. Isn't that cute? It's perfect for this meaning. The Hangman is a card of, to me, most of all, this sense of waiting. Being in limbo, you could say, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be like you're waiting to hear back to whether or not you have gotten a certain job. That's not bad. It can be kind of fun sometimes to wait for something and kind of like anticipate it, right? And this is also a card, though. It can be of maybe waiting for another person. Now that's where it's a little bit, I personally can't stand that. When you feel like your life is up in the air because of a decision that somebody else refuses to make. So I'm thinking specifically of a love situation. But the Hangman can also be, in some cases, surrender. And surrender is not giving up on a situation. It is not trying to, control the situation. There's a big difference between those two concepts. When you are trying to control a situation because you think that you have power over it, that can lead to creating a lot of resistance and just creating a lot of drama. And maybe you did create drama in the past. That would not be so out of character of an Aries person. Fire energy, very dramatic, okay? Cardinal sign, trying to make things happen. But as you probably have found out, Aries, other people don't want to go along with your program sometimes. And that can make you feel frustrated. Because you tend to be quite, I was going to say eager, but I really meant that you are impatient. And it is because you're so eager in life. And it's not, I'm not saying that to say, oh, that's so terrible, but the end result can be constant frustration when other people don't do your bidding or want to do what you ask them to do. But it's also, I think it's possible, based on some of these other cards, the first few cards that I drew, that maybe you're waiting for a business that you've started to take off. I can tell you, if you've started a business in 2018, it wasn't probably one of the best years to see the results of that because of all the retrogrades we've had. Even if they occurred in different houses, the theme of 2018 seemed to be very internalized in a way. And it was an 11-year universal year. So that may have made those lessons much more of cosmic lessons rather than material success, But you may, one of the biggest mistakes people make is to assume, oh, okay, I started a business, it should just take off from the ground running. And I could see an Aries person placing unrealistic expectations on whatever it is that they started. And maybe now you're realizing you just have to let go of these expectations. The foundation card is the Lovers. Now, the Lovers card can be like a choice. It's also associated with Gemini. If this is a love situation, this was what I was kind of alluding to. This may be about choice, but I don't think you're the one making the choice. I think it's one of those situations where you're waiting for the other person to choose between you and their partner. And this is what I was, or even if you are married to this person, or you are the primary relationship with this person, waiting for them to end an affair. And feeling, you could feel like you're in limbo because of this, like you can't move on with your life. This card, as I said, is connected to Gemini. Maybe this is a Gemini individual. And if this has nothing to do with like a lover's triangle or quadrangle, a lover's quadrangle, maybe the other party, the Gemini, if this is, we're talking about signs here, maybe this other party is overseas and they're in the military and you're waiting for them to come home on leave, or you're waiting for them to come back from some kind of work in another country because the globalists have made everybody have to run around the world looking for employment. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? So one of those deals. And so it could be something that has nothing to do with a third party or anything like that. But in any case, there's that feeling of like, okay, I can't move forward in my life. And then the card that crosses you is the Magician, and this is just what I'm saying, because the Magician is about self-empowerment. It's a number one. Now, what do you have in common with the Magician? Well, you are the first house in astrology. Number one is the individual, and that's what the Magician is all about. People think, oh, magic, but it's about understanding that you are your own alchemist, and you take the crap from life and you make it into something good, and you transmute things. But it's you. It's all about you. It's not about astrological transits or other people. That's a big one. If you're looking for love and you feel like somebody is stringing you along, then you know what you could say, if you really have the guts, say, well, you know what? They're just not that into me. Because anyone who is really into me, they're not going to be sitting there going, I wonder who I should pick. I'm really confused. I don't know if I should leave my marriage or stay, be with this Aries person. I'm not sure. Then a person who has a very clear vision of what they want out of life would say, okay, next. I'm not willing to wait around for somebody to decide whether or not I'm worthy enough to be with. Are you kidding me? That's like, wow, what an insulting position to be in. And so if you really looked at it that way, you would have a very easy decision to make. But, we're human, and there might be things that you're really, there might be a person that you really care about and you just don't want to let that person go. In terms of your own, like a business situation, that may be something that you need to step more into your power, Aries. There may be some kind of lurking fears about whether or not you can be successful. And the Magician is all about taking what you have and making something of it. I think a lot of people get these grandiose notions. I could imagine an Aries person doing this very easily, where they're just like, oh man, I'm just going to launch this thing, and I'm going to have all this infrastructure in place, and I'm going to have this big launch and all this advertisement. Instead of doing something more humbly, modestly, and then building up to it as things start to increase. People sometimes want to make a big splash, and it's not necessarily wise to do it that way, because you might invest so much on the front end and still wait a long time to even break even, So, yeah, so that might be going on if that's a personal issue. The higher message is the Two of Cups. This is about mutuality, which is a very important issue. Now, just talking about this in terms of business ventures, actually, this position, this card I picked, is really supposed to be more of a spiritual type of influence rather than just like mundane advice. But I would say in this, that this is about, if I wanted to talk about maybe attitudes that need changing or something like that, about Aries and cooperation. Maybe if you are starting a business, it would be better served with a partner. And maybe that partner could do some of the grunt work, if you will. If you're not, usually Aries people are the idea people, and they have all of this energy about promoting and stuff like that. You may not like to do the accounting or some of the more nuts and bolts kinds of things. I'm looking for a certain phrase, I can't think of it. But anyway, you know what I mean, the more practical stuff. You may find that it's better to have a partner. I was going to say a Virgo. That's the one that you want. But you may have this kind of like hard time with conceiving of having a partner, because you may like total control over everything, and you might have to cooperate with such a person. So just to at least consider the thought of that. And with relationships, if you're waiting for somebody else, this card may be suggesting that they really do have somebody else that is, they really are still in love with their partner, and they wish to reunite with that person on a whole level. It's hard for people to understand this, but I believe that in a lot of cases, and I think especially with, well, I don't know if I would just say men. Maybe I won't even bring up gender, because that might not even be accurate. But sometimes people get involved in affairs because their partner is neglecting them. And once that rectifies itself, maybe it's because the partner just gave birth and they're not available, or maybe it's because the partner is really swamped with work, and so the other party is just feeling neglected, and they just, one thing leads to another, and they do it. I'm not saying that this is a good situation. I'm not endorsing infidelity. I'm just explaining it, And you might really think, oh, wow, we're in love and stuff. And they might be just kind of doing that, getting involved in an affair because they're waiting, but they really still love their partner. It can be hard sometimes to really accept this, especially if you've fallen for that person. So it's important to understand that actions speak louder than words. It isn't what somebody says, it's what they do, isn't it? The practical advice, Two of Pentacles. This is a card. Anytime you have a two, we're talking about choices. I would say, too, with the Two of Pentacles, for any, if you've launched a business and you still haven't seen enough profit, it's saying have two jobs. Have a day job and then have your business. Don't put so much pressure on your business to succeed from the get-go, because that will just create more frustration and also stress, because you're like, oh my God, this has to turn a profit because I don't have any other income coming in. You know what I mean? So You know, I think that the best way of describing this is that you need to have a sense of there being more than one option for you to bring in money. In terms of your personal life, this may be about you making the decision, not waiting for them to make the decision. I've had 2 readings in a row where this kind of scenario is cropping up. What's coming in is the Ace of Cups. Oh, I like this card. New beginnings in love. Maybe the seed's being planted. Excuse me. Maybe the seed's being planted. Maybe this could even be like you commiserating with someone, telling them of this situation, and that person turning out to be the person that you're crying on their shoulder, them turning out to be the one that is right for you, and you happen to meet them in a very, I wouldn't say meet, in certain cases it would be somebody you already know, but it could be that you meet a new water sign individual, that this person comes into your life. This would be Pisces or Cancer. Yeah, I think with Aries, Cancer is a big one, which is kind of funny. I mean, you're both cardinal signs, but you are quite different as personality types. And the other water sign is Aries. And but if this is just in general that somebody comes into your life right now, this is like the perfect time, because you're kind of hanging in there and you're waiting for something to change, and then it makes it easier for you to let go of this, almost we could call it impossible situation. If this is a work situation, you may get some kind of a job offer that is more emotionally satisfying, so that even if you want to have a business that is your own, and that you don't want to have to work for somebody else, this could be at least a great alternative to that. I mean, in the interim, I should say. And the outcome is the 10 of Wands. So this is fire energy, and this could be working overtime. A sense of like, we are approaching the holidays. So maybe this Ace of Cups is a seasonal type of job, who knows? But it's something that you're working, maybe you're just really hustling and working a lot. With the 2 of Pentacles, you could be very, very busy right now doing 2 different things. So that might be why I'm getting the 10 of Wands as the outcome. But also for personal relationships, this to me would suggest that you're kind of carrying the load here. And so I want you to look at that. If you, maybe you are, with the Ace of Cups, you have an opportunity to have another relationship, but perhaps you're really attracted to a person who is a fire sign. That this might be the person who's keeping you, hanging on, and who's keeping you hanging on because they need to make a choice. And I would say that if you're involved with another Aries, a Sagittarius, or a Leo, in some ways you may, and in many ways, you may be more compatible than somebody with a strong water sign constitution. I can't think of the word I'm using that I want to say, because it's morning and I'm a little spacey. But yeah, so watch out for the tendency to be carrying the weight in a relationship, because that will just lead to frustration, because it's one-sided. Really, if you think about it, it is one-sided. When you're the one that's carrying the torch, yeah, that's a good phrase. And it's like, is it mutual? So that's the Two of Cups is a card of mutuality. So make sure that any relationship that you are involved with is one where both parties are into the relationship. Okay, Aries, that's what I have for you. And if you would like a personal reading, right now my sale, I don't really put readings on sale per se too often because I think the prices are usually low enough, but I am doing it for my natal chart interpretations because those are the most, the highest priced of all my readings, and they're 20% off through the end of the year. And so I'm going to link that below and just my general online store. Have a great rest of November. Take care. Bye.